Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Nashville. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Brian David Marshall. And look at all those three-letter nicknames on that right-hand side of the screen. We got BBD, CVM, Michael Majors, yeah, MM. On the other side, Matt Nass. Doesn't get out to as many tournaments as he once did. He's in school, you know, kind of trying to take care of business, but he's still come out here to play with his buddies.
Jacob Wilson, also a Grand Prix champion.
Yes.
And Jesse Hampton, two-time Pro Tour top 8 competitor?
I think he finished 9th or 10th in one of them and then top 8 in the other. So he was platinum for a year. He's not on the train currently, but has won a few.
Mostly because he forgot.
Yeah, he's a little, he's local to Seattle. I get to play against him in our PTQs, the ones that he doesn't win, which he wins quite a few of them. So we are underway here. Michael Majors, though, really impressive career start for Michael. You mentioned it before, Brian. He's got 2 Pro Tour top 16s. That's at the PT level.
Yeah. Oh, so force away on Herald of Anafenza in response to activating it.
And I think he thought that he wouldn't get the token, but he does get the token, which is very awkward against his leaping master.
Yeah.
And he has to pass the turn back with the Jeskai Wind Scout. So he keeps him a little bit off balance here, but I think that ultimately Jacob Wilson's going to be pretty happy with how that turned out.
Yeah.
Like, he used up an entire force away for just pure tempo here.
Yeah,
and he's even left a creature behind.
He's like, oh, wait a minute, I can actually play a land, play my Horde Chief, and then replay my Herald of Anafenza.
Yeah,
there we go.
Pretty nice turn there. Right. The thing with force away is that you really want to have a big punch behind it. That's how you can best leverage those pure tempo plays like that.
I like it a lot on end of turn 2. Your opponent, you know, your end of turn 2. They've played their turn 3. They play a guy, and you bounce their morph, and just set them back, and you get to sort of steal the initiative from them.
Yeah, I don't know if that's worth a card. Like, that's my question. Is like, because you're definitely gaining from it.
You fall so far behind. Like, when they get to be the first to unmorph, it's just so brutal.
It's true, and that's usually when I save my force away. I'll even block to make them sink that mana in, and then get it back in their hand. They can't recast it. All right, so let's see what happens here, though. It looks like, yes, that is a Chief of the Blade, and this could get really ugly because, yeah, those are warrior tokens that the Herald of Anafenza makes. So right now, Jacob Wilson way ahead. Michael Majors with maybe a misstep in the early stages there with that force away, and he's still struggling to get back to where he wants to be. He's got a decent little board state with a more 5 mana and a Jeskai Wind Scout, but the board state of Jacob Wilson is getting out of hand pretty quickly. He's going to be pumping out 2-1s every single turn for the rest of the game, as long as that Chief, excuse me, is on the table. Wow. Yeah, all of Jacob Wilson's non-Herald cards are warriors. That's pretty nasty.
Fly over with the Scout. Warden of the Eye.
Okay, well now we see why he was so aggressive with his force away. He just wanted something in the yard so that on turn 5 he could buy it back. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other reason you like to use something like force away early. I mean, not just for Warden, but also for, like, you know, what if he'd wanted to play a Delve card there in some other color configuration?
Sure. Where you're getting something out of it and then getting something out of it again. Yeah. Yeah, now you're starting to add up towards
the Lotus
card
Petal
level.
move.
Sure, Lotus Petal.
Might have been a sweet card to print for Jeskai, right?
Lotus Petal. All right, it looks like Murderous Cut, though, is going to take down the Warden of the Eye. Something you never really want to do because he's already got a card off it, but it's often the right play. And Jacob Wilson sees it here, and it's going to allow a big attack from Jacob.
2/3 Herald, he's not worried about that being blocked by the morph.
Yeah, meanwhile,
2/3 Horde Chief, not worried about that. And then
7
either of the
power,
tokens just trade with the morph.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just no good block here for Michael Majors. Nothing. Yeah, he's like, sure, take it to the dome. That was 9 damage he just took there. dropping him down to 7. And again, the problem here that he faces is that Jacob Wilson's board is just wider than his. Like, he can just attack around any type of blockers, and even as it sits, Michael Majors doesn't have any great blockers going. Like, Wind Scout trading for a token is pretty miserable. Does have that force away now in his hand, though. But unfortunately for him, Jacob Wilson knows about it, so he's going to be able to adjust his play accordingly.
I'll most likely see is the force away on the chief of the scale. I mean, the chief of the edge. If you just get it.
Yeah, that would reduce the damage that he takes by a lot. It would let him eat a token.
It would also put his Just Guy to 2 toughness, so it eats a token.
Yeah. Looks like his idea is to keep attacking, though. So he's going to battle for 2 to drop Wilson down to 13. And he's got River Wheel Aerialist to follow up. So a nice blocker there, 4-5. That morph still face down, has been for the duration of the game. And here is Rush of Battle, which I believe does it. Yeah, it's got to do it. That's got to be game pretty easily here.
It was pretty close to game already.
Yeah, it was. So in they come, and that's going to do it. There are no blocks good enough here. He's taking bare minimum like 10 or whatever. So, all right, it was a Mystic of the Hidden Way. And Michael Majors trying to be the aggressor there, but just not really able to make it happen. As Jacob Wilson was able to get way ahead with the Warrior theme deck. And he's got a little smile there for Jesse Hampton. You see him on the bottom. He's playing against Chris VanMeter on the right-hand side. Looks like the beard's coming back.
Right, player you know pretty well. Looks like we're going to check in. Yeah. Check in on Matt Nass and Braun-Duin's match, which is in progress.
And there's Matt Nass on the left side.
War Name Aspirant, a Morph, facing off against Seeker of the Way and a slowly grinding Salt Road Patrol.
I like Salt Road Patrol.
You love toughness, man.
I do. BDM, which one do you like? Heir of the Wilds or Seeker of the Way?
Seeker of the Way.
2 votes for Seeker. I'm on Heir of the Wilds.
I want to be in a Seeker of the Way deck. I don't want to be in an Heir of the Wilds deck.
Geez, that's weird.
I know.
I think exactly the opposite. I mean, I'll take either. They're both great cards. But I'm on Heir. That's my guy.
Seeker's a cross-format all-star.
I only play one format, buddy.
You talk about more than one these days.
Yeah, I actually do play in more than one format, too. But I don't play Seeker of the Way in that format either. All right, so Matt Nass peels his card for the turn. It looks like he's already got a Warden of the Eye in his hand.
Yeah.
Plenty of stuff in the graveyard. See a Crippling Chill right there on top. Can get any non-land or non-creature permanent. You can get Singing Bell Strike or whatever.
Matt Nass, playing Just Guy.
Yeah.
3 refuges that give him white mana.
Gainlands?
Yeah. They call them Gainlands.
Yeah, you like that?
I like the refuge cycle, but yeah.
Gainlands.
Yeah,
that's right up your alley.
I like it. I've gotten used to saying refuges though. So he only has to play 1 planes in his deck.
Oh, really? Okay. So an almost free white splash.
Yeah.
But he's heavy blue-red. You can see that from his mana.
And he really wants that white splash for Sage of the Inward Eye.
Ooh.
And Flying Crane Technique.
Wow. Does he also have a Warden of the Eye?
Yes, he does have a Warden of the Eye.
All right. So, yeah, really strong splash cards here, these white cards.
Oh, and I like his deck. He's playing Valley Dasher. He's dashing in the valleys.
I'm out.
You're out? All right, Seeker of the Way or Valley Dasher?
Oh, come on.
Trick question.
Seeker.
You want both?
No, I just want Seeker. I like Seeker a lot. Card's incredible for a 2-drop.
Oh, and there is the Sage of the Inward Eye.
Let's see if it survives the turn. No, that looks like a Dune Blast in hand for BBD.
They're like, I'll keep this guy that's going to gain me some life.
Gonna keep the Seeker?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. He has a How big is that thing?
That's 4.7.
He doesn't want to keep the 4.7.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he will, but he pointed at the seeker of the way.
I saw that too.
Maybe he was just putting the trigger on. Yeah.
Okay. He's just
He was
triggering.
just
I'm
doing
like,
his
how
trigger.
the heck do you keep a seeker? Like, unless you know your opponent
Right.
has
Or if you needed
Smite the
or if you
Monsters
needed the
in
life
hand.
gain.
Yeah. Yeah, if you needed it, like to
Like,
not
like,
die.
yeah, if you wanted to stay above Arrow Storm Rage.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You know.
But it looks like BBD's at 12, so he gets to keep his biggest, best threat. And there's Tormented Voice. Draw a couple of cards here for Nass. He can get that back.
And Delve check. Or this could be Warden of the Eye check.
Yeah.
Does it hurt your being that there are, just like hurt your soul that there's a treasure cruise in Matt Nass's sideboard?
Yes. Especially when he's got a million cards in his graveyard. That is painful.
A treasure cruise that he could Warden of the Eye back to his hand.
Oh, yeah. But he's trying to be more assertive, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Well,
he's an aggressive blue-red deck.
He's got 4 Jeskai Wind Scouts in his deck.
Goodness. Yeah, I think I could probably skip the treasure cruise maybe there. I'll forgive Matt.
Yeah, I mean, he's really looking to just fly over 2 Crippling Chills, an Icy Blast, 4 Jeskai Wind Scout. That's his deck.
All right. Braun-Duin's going to battle with Salt Road Patrol.
What did he get back with the Warden?
I think he got Crippling Chill back.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's a Hate Blade.
Sure, we'll find out shortly.
And there is a more.
I think it was a Witness of the Ages that's the morph.
Yeah, I do too.
Is that a grip?
Yep.
Oh, it sure is. Oh, you don't see this one every day. He really is aggressive.
Well, especially on those flyers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It just makes the clock so quick. So Dragon Grip is going to turn his Warden of the Eye into a 5-power creature. And he's going to enter Ye Old Red Zone.
No good blocks for first strike there.
No, first strike is just too much of a pain and allows him to nicely sidestep the Mardu Hate Blade that was going to just sort of keep that thing at bay. While Braun-Duin kept applying pressure with Salt Road Patrol at 4 power. There's a Mysterious Morph and 5 mana. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's a Witness of the Ages. Which he can morph up for 5.
Yep.
And he's going to do that now. There it is. All right, Witness of the Ages. Can he kill him? 4, 8,
Oh,
9.
an Icy Blast.
He's got Icy Blast?
Yes, he does. Tap your team. Doesn't
Wow,
untap.
Just comboing off here is Matt Nass. Remember, the Warden of the Eye now has Ferocious simply because of the Dragon Grip, and those are not going to untap. That's yucky.
It's like, play Dragon's Grip. Do I have Ferocious? No.
Is
Okay,
Matt
Dragon's
Nass-
Grip resolves. Now I have Ferocious.
Right. Is Matt Nass going to beat a Dune Blast? Like, that is so difficult to do.
It sure looks it.
Here's 5 to bring BBD down to 3. He has no cards in
Play a
hand,
morph.
and there's a morph. It feels like Dune Blast isn't going to be enough this time.
Come on, Warden of the Eye, back to Dune Blast.
That's going to do it. Icy Blast finishes it. Wow, and Matt Nass gets to show off a little there with his last morph.
Yeah.
Misfire Weaver, a really good one.
Still had all these face down.
Yeah. And he turns them up. So Matt Nass takes, looks like game 1 there.
Yeah, so
against
Matt Nass and
Braun-Duin.
Jacob Wilson take their game 1s. While Chris VanMeter is, he's got a game there. You see him hard casting a Snowhorn Rider.
So Jesse Hampton had a heck of a road to get here. He's from Seattle, where I'm from. It's pretty far from here already. and he had to do a layover in Charlotte. He got caught in a storm there, so they couldn't land in Charlotte as planned. So they ended up going to Durham, where they had to get gas in the plane, refueled the
always
plane,
the worst.
then got back in the air and made it to Charlotte at like 1 in the morning when all the planes were gone. There was no more flights going. This is like last night. So Jesse rents a car in like a blizzard or whatever, some storm that prevented him from landing before, and drives here from Charlotte. That's what a team GP is all about. Like, it's not just
you can't. Yeah, if you don't make it, if you miss an event, you're like, oh well, I missed it. I'll go hang out, do side events, do whatever. There's plenty of stuff to do. But if you miss it and you like screw up your 2 teammates who took off from work, or made arrangements to have someone water the plants, or it's pretty brutal.
It's really brutal.
So good on him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he just got whacked with a savage punch.
He certainly did.
And a 7-power Snowhorn rider coming in. Oh, nice dragon scale boon on the Falconer.
So he just main phased that.
Yeah.
Got in there for an attack, got it back untapped. Doesn't want to get it countered, I guess. But you know what? CVM has not a care in the world. He's got Awaken the Bear in his hand, and he's just going to jam.
Jesse had no real expectation of that. He's like, oh,
no, he's like,
here, fine, I'll push this in the way. If you have it, I'm dead. If you don't have it, I'm dead.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Smoke Teller doing work. Sagu Archer is the follow-up play. Are we in end hostilities or bust range yet?
Sure, looking
like it.
He's
at 5. It does feel like it. Maybe not literally, but even if he plays that armament core and makes a 6/6, he would be allowed to survive the turn.
Right.
He can eat the rider, take 4, go to 1.
That's what it's going to be. This is where your opponent just rips a force away.
And it's
it's
very close to a force away. And Jesse just sort of shows him a bunch of cards. He has Anafenza in his hand. And that's actually that was the match for Chris VanMeter. So he picks up his first one for his team with Michael Majors and Brian Braun-Duin. And he's going to leave it to one of those two to win back-to-back games against their opponents, because they're both down a game.
The guys, I did my part.
And Jesse says, guys, finish him off. And it looks like Wilson's in a good position to do that. Though, a nice standoff here. Man, those 1/1 tokens match up really well against against Michael's deck. Just a bunch of 1 toughness stuff around.
Got a Grim Harrispex, Mantis Rider. Oh, there's the Russia Battle.
That Russia Battle is so nasty with all those random warrior tokens laying around. Now they're all 3 power with lifelink. Makes racing almost impossible.
All right, Michael Majors, now is the time to have a blinding spray.
Yeah. Like I said, the only time I've ever played blinding spray, I brought it in against a deck that had 3 of those. 3 Russia Battle, and I said, all right, I've had enough.
Yeah.
So he played one, I played blinding spray, and then he played another one and killed me. So I guess I needed more blinding sprays.
He has a blinding spray in his sideboard.
That would be sweet.
Okay. So Russia Battle, not very aptly named here.
Nope. So this is one of those, let's flesh it out. Talking to a teammate. Both of these teams are sitting at 5-1.
Yeah.
Looks like they're having fun though.
But, this is the last loss either team has to give in order to make day 2.
Yeah. Major says, yep, resolves. And everybody into the red zone because Jacob Wilson just doesn't have to worry about it. No matter what, he's going to be at 30-something life or whatever. So
almost no matter. Again, Blinding spray.
Blinding spray, you're correct. Majors really tanked it out. Just said, okay. What about flying crane technique? That would be savage too. All right, he's going to blocks here. Are we going to see a blinding spray blowout here? He's got his opponent almost tapped out, 2 mana left.
So he's putting himself in a position to just take 12 here from the tokens.
Ugh. He really wants to get rid of this Herald. He's contemplating a double block on the Herald.
Yep. You have to assume that that morph is an Efreet Weapon Master.
It's blocking the Harspecs right now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Standard Madness players, your round 2 parents have been posted on the Chandra banner. Once again, Standard Madness players, your round 2
Yep, you were right about that.
Free weapons.
Weapon Master. So that's actually great because it gets the Grim Harspecs in the graveyard on first strike damage, which means that these other trades aren't going to trigger it. So pretty nice one there. Whether they do the math wrong or something?
Not sure what happened there.
I don't know what happened there either. But it looks like Jacob Wilson won. I mean, he was going to be at 100 life or whatever, so yeah. All right, well, I'm not really sure exactly how that ended. Maybe
the life totals were wrong.
Yeah, the life totals could have been wrong, or Majors could have made a block that left him dead on accident or whatever. But that means we get a third match to decide the whole thing here.
Yep.
And probably not a great spot for Matt Nass when his turn 5 play is Leaping Master, but he could easily have, oh, yeah, he's got 6 cards in his hand. Yeah, he's gonna have something here.
Everybody comes in.
Braun-Duin attacking with a squad here. He's contemplating trading for a token. And he does, miserably. Takes 3. BBD gains a life and has a Merrick Nightblade to follow up.
Yeah, and that's enough. We're going to go to game 3 here.
All right, looks like those life totals weren't quite there either, so.
Yeah, they were still updating those. That wasn't, they just switched over. But we are going to see.
It's all up to Matt Nass. Look at his new long hair. Looks like he's from the 70s. I like it.
Yeah, little mod squadish.
Guy's a rebounding machine at basketball too. Ooh, don't forget about the World Championship coming up in what, about a month? Maybe it's like a month and a week.
It's not. Yeah, it's barely.
Yeah. You can see the details there. Who will be crowned the victor?
So we're gonna draft the worlds.
Okay.
What are you? I'll give you first pick. What are you gonna take? World
Which
Championship
player do
or
I
World
take?
Magic Cup?
Oh, I have to draft those?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a tough choice. I mean, I think I take the World Championship. That's my favorite one.
I'll happily take the World Magic
Cup.
Yeah, I agree. You're like playing Spiky.
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's my favorite one, but gosh, the other one's great.
Then you're gonna look at the players. You can draft Sunday, Randy. Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll draft more than just Sunday.
I draft the day off day.
Yeah. Thursday. Yeah. Thursday is draft day, right? Then you can look at the players. Shahar Shanhar, the reigning world champion. Jeremy Dizani, the player of the year. Raph Levy, who won the World Magic Cup last year for France. Raymond Perez Jr., the freshly crowned Rookie of the Year. Sean McLaren, Patrick Chapin, Evan Flock, your Pro Tour champions. Lars Dom, the Magic Online Championship winner. And then, just a host of monsters Turtenwald, Duke, Adel, Damadorosa, Shitian, Namsung-wook, Yuya Watanabe, Yuki Ichikawa quietly had just an insane run at the Pro Tour. I think we have there's still more players, right? That's not even all of them. Yeah, Stanislav Sivka, a Pro Tour champion, William Jensen, a Pro Tour champion, Josh Utter-Layton, just like so close to being a Pro Tour champion, but has umpteen Pro Tour top 8s already in his career. Tom Martell, a Pro Tour champion. Paul Rietzel, a Pro Tour champion. Sam Black, multiple Pro Tour top 8s. Jacob Wilson.
Finalist.
Yeah, finals. And Kentaro Yamamoto, really
put together a great...
man responsible for Pack Rat.
Yeah.
Jerk.
Him and Eric Lauer.
What a jerk.
Him and Eric Lauer.
I am so rooting against him at the World Championship.
Because he discovered.
Yeah. Like, what if I put 2 Pack Rat in my deck?
Huh.
Oh,
2 weeks later, everybody has 4 in every deck they build.
I mean, only the people who were winning.
Yeah, only Owen. And actually BBD as well.
Yeah. Looked at those lists and went, huh, how could we improve this?
Yeah.
More Pack Rats.
Oh, yeah, that card looks good.
All right, game 3. Having looked at the lists and watched a little bit of the games, who do you like here?
My gut says the Matt Nass, Jacob Wilson, Jesse Hampton squad, and because I think Matt Nass has a really, really great deck here. Not by a lot though. I mean, BBD's a top level pro. Like he's not going to give up anything. He's a great technical player as well.
But when it comes down to Obzon versus Jeskai, you think Jeskai is just...
not in general, but having looked at Matt Nass's list, I just think he has all the tools.
Yeah.
He's got the big power plays. He's got the consistency. He's going to be able to put a big clock on.
Well, he can go Wind Scout into Wind Scout and then chain like a crippling chill into some other spell.
Yeah. It doesn't take much. Like if those Wind Scouts survive, you're in such a great position.
Well, that is
Is it too late for me to change my mind?
Nope, you're locked in.
All right, let's go, Matt Nass.
But he's going to crippling chill.
All right, to save 2 damage, sure. Card going, and I think he just drew a Wind Scout, so we might be in business here.
So morph for BBD.
A lot of pressure on Matt Nass. His teammates are going to be watching here. They need this win here. They're sitting at 5-1, and they really want to keep their top 8 in sight. And picking up a second loss on day 1, puts you a significant jump away. Like
it means they'll need to win the next 7 rounds before maybe being able to draw in.
Yeah.
If the loser here has to win 7 in a row, and possibly an 8th.
6 in a row. 6 in a row. Because there's only 5 tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is round 7.
So it's only 6 in a row. No problem, beating.
That's nothing.
We thought it was 7, but since it's 6.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's insane.
Possibly 7. And you might not be able to.
You're totally right. It could totally be 7. So, yeah, picking up a loss here, it's not the end of the world. It's just really, really bad.
Kill shot takes down the Wind Scout.
And Sage of the Inward Eye is the follow-up play. So a super strong follow-up for Matt Nass. Yeah. The question is, does that survive? Is it going to get throttled? Oh, it is. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, things spiraling out of control here for Matt Nass. Braun-Duin ahead on tempo and ahead on board state and looking to keep it that way. Matt's got another crippling chill in his hand, but those are what you want to play when you're ahead. Sure, you can play it to keep a little heat off you, but you're kind of spinning your wheels there. You really want to have some pressure going. And he hasn't been able to keep a threat on the battlefield. He's only played 2, and they've both been immediately killed by Brian. So he's going to need to find a way to not only apply pressure, but also keep the heat off his back.
Okay, Leaping Master.
That's not a great one, but I think we're going to see the crippling chill here as well.
Yeah, he's like, I have to tap your morph here. Draws a card. Gets in with his 2-3. Looks like he's got the 3-2 in his hand as well.
He's got both Chief of the Scale and
Yep.
Chief of the Edge.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my goodness! And a timely Horde
yeah.
mate to come down just as a 3-2 there, no big effect.
Timely
but-
Horde mate's reputation for timeliness is largely self-proclaimed.
He wasn't very timely here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I find he often shows up and he's like, "So this is when we agreed to meet, right, guys?"
He's like, no, timely.
No. Last turn would have
You
been
forgot
kind
to
of ideal.
put your clock ahead for daylight savings again. All right, what do you got, Matt Nass? Well, Aerostorm to take down the Chief of the Scale there,
Yep.
which is decent. Morph's not going to untap because of Crippling Chill.
Timely, and then Timely Horde mate now is like, oh, I see. I could have shown up. Oh.
Right, he looks back at the
Oh.
graveyard.
Oh. My bad. I was supposed to drive him.
BBD might be mad at Timely Horde Mate and send him in. He does. And Matt's going to immediately trade off Leaping Master.
And BBD's down to a card here.
He is, but he does have the board state. He could also use up his mana to turn that Morph face up. We don't know what it is, but Matt Nass really needs a big play here. He needs to stabilize his board really quickly, sitting at 9 life. This could get ugly. Let's see what he's got.
There's a lot of cards he does not want to draw at this stage of the game. He's got things like a Monastery Swift Spear. There's a lot of bottom decks, as it were.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the downside to
But-
these aggressive decks, but he's got a Sage of the Inward
Yeah.
Eye, and it looks like he's going for a longer game plan. He picked up the Aerostorm. Okay. So end step, BBD is going to flip up Witness of the Ages against the Warning Aspirant and the Sage of the, the Warden of the Eye. So right now BBD has to try to plan out how he's going to get damage through. This probably just gets through because Matt Nass has an answer for it in his hand. So what is this, a Hate Blade? It's the only thing, right?
Yeah.
You and I both just Hate Blade, 1 white mana. There's that Firehoof Cavalry, but nobody plays that.
Really?
I don't play that card. No way.
I like it in my red-white decks.
Come on. You know what I like in my red-white decks? Aerostorm.
Yeah, well, I mean, that too.
You play that one too?
I do.
And Witness of the Ages gets buzzed right into the graveyard there.
And
by
these
a
players
storm of arrows.
have sort of hit parity on the board,
Yeah.
but it's just one spell for
For
BBDs
either.
to get. Well, I mean, the life totals are greatly
There
out
is
of whack
a
here.
gap.
Yeah, Hateblade's gonna come in. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna
Sure.
trade that.
And is this a face down morph here? It is. That's a pretty good one, as it could be any number of very powerful morphs to flip up.
I'm gonna guess that it is.
It's probably a guide, right? An Obzon guide or something.
No, I think it might actually be a. No, I thought it was War Behemoth, but he doesn't have one in his deck. So it may very well just be an Obzon guide. Let's see. He doesn't have an Obzon guide.
All right. So it's not that. Could
By
be
the way,
a Sage Eye Harrier.
Flinthoof Cavalry was briefly in his deck.
He crossed it out.
He crossed it out.
He tried to go super aggressive.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably a Krumar Bloodkin.
Bonkin, sure.
Bonkin, yeah.
That's decent here. But it does trade for the Warden of the Eye awkwardly. Arc Lightning. Okay. Even if it is a Krumar Bonkin, we are now at parity.
Yeah.
Like, if he attacks, it gets blocked. He turns it up, and they trade. And it is a Sage Eye Harrier. Okay. So he does have some form of pressure here. It's also a very difficult to kill one.
Yep.
And while it doesn't apply a particularly quick clock,
Nibble, nibble, nibble.
doesn't need to. Yeah, that's down to 5 there for Matt Nass. And pass the turn back. So I guess Matt Nass has to try to race now somehow? This doesn't seem very possible, does it? Oh, treasure cruise off the top.
And now that treasure cruise came in out of the sideboard.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
He was
He
not
wasn't Mania.
starting that card. Wouldn't be surprised if he took out something like a singing bell strike for it.
Sure. I mean, he probably is responding to how much removal BBD showed him, right? It's like, so Matt Nass with the freshly drawn 3 cards here should be able to start pulling ahead on some level. Ooh, that's 6 mana. Is it Aerialist?
I think it's in a free weaponsmith.
Yeah, so that
Just face
Weapon
up.
Master? Yeah,
Weapon
so
Master,
that's
yeah.
actually going to trigger when it enters the battlefield. And it's going to be 7. Now, I was questioning a minute ago, well, how the heck is Matt Nass going to get a race going here? And he's got one. Like, now he can start battling.
Oh, but
Can
he
I
gets throttled.
cancel that order, please? No! Wow,
Disdainful
disdainful stroke.
Yeah.
So BBD,
And that's it.
he
He's
could
out of
have
cards
fired
in
it
hand.
off. Who it? BBD.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out. He drew a, believe a non-land, unless it was tri-land. Wow, this is going to be a close one. But now Matt can actually start trying to race him at least a little bit at a time. Certainly wins the race and makes BBD stop attacking, which is really what Matt Nass wanted. I think he drew a Jeskai Windscott, which is kind of not amazing here, but get in there for 3 damage.
He's just got to be happy it wasn't a Monastery Swift Spear.
Yeah. No, at least that could attack. All right, pass the turn back. Braun-Duin's going to gain a life back, but he doesn't look like he's found anything to actually cast. So can Matt Nass wrestle this game away from BBD? He's been what seems like he was behind for most of the
Remember
game.
that turn 3 crippling chill?
Yeah.
An Arrow Storm, an Arc Lightning, a Treasure Cruise later.
Treasure Cruise really putting the finishing touch on that sequence. It was a great draw for Matt. And he's got an Icy Blast. And that is actually going to keep that Harrier out. And the reason he's doing this is because you can kill him in 2 turns. He's basically saying, BBD, you need to draw something immediately. And he doesn't. Matt Nass finds the win. And he gets the old pat on the shoulder from his teammates there, and well deserved.
A rare smile from Jesse Hampton.
Yeah.